back to the Meeple Marathon. Today we are going to be unboxing some new Thunderstone Quest. So we have Quest 16 and 17 here, packed to the gills. We also have the newest storage box. These, I don't think there's anything special, no, but we'll pull it open here. One thing I do appreciate is that they just kind of made it generic. The last one, they put the name of that expansion on there, which is fine, but I have, you know, various quests mixed in there, and basically kind of shift stuff around as needed. But here's just a new box to hold everything. We are on box number 4 now, so that's how much content is out for this game. 4 huge boxes, pretty much all cards. And we'll just check here inside. Oh, there was, okay, these little straps were open on one side. So they did give us the little tray here with the things. They did not do this for the third box, the one that they put the name on the expansion and everything like that. And did not give us these, or something happened with these. It was kind of a mess, but it appears that they did the right thing this time. Everything appears to be in good shape. Everything is there. Like I said, it's just an empty box to hold this and future content. The next couple quests, from what they've said, they have no thoughts of stopping, so they're just going to keep going. I would assume at least to 20 at this point, which would be 18, 19, and 20, because we're up to 17 now. So here is what we have to unbox. Before we get to that, there is a little mini quest that came along with this as well, or side quest. All right, so with our side quest, we have a couple things, and I'm not quite sure how this fits in. So we have a Guardian here, so we can play Barricades mode. Full Guardian. All right, we have a full-on prestige level called the Medusan Lord, which is double-sided here. Let's look at their spoils here. If you defeat a level 1 monster, you may destroy a level 1 hero to gain a level 1 legendary, I don't know why I'm trying to make this harder than it is, legendary Medusan hero from the box. Okay, your Medusan heroes cannot be reduced. Heroes cost -2 for you. When you use your rank 1 spoils, you may gain a level 2 legendary Medusan hero instead. Also, once per turn, remove a thing. Always like that. You build the guild's quarter barricade equal to your rank. You may gain a level 3. So basically, I guess if you want to include these Medusan heroes over here, you need to include this. Now, it said side quest, but I don't know if this is just, you know, throwing these in here, and, you know, if you play with this guy as a Guardian, who does he claim? There's no instructions, so there's Guardian guide here for him for Barricades mode. Okay, so he's got one set of monsters, a Brine Fiend, one side quest. After defeating monsters, reveal the side quest. When revealed, gain the following spoils abilities. Okay. Okay, and then here, these should be the heroes, I'm assuming. Oh, so here's a little rule book. Let's look at these. Lady Bane, Life, Archangel Allele. So these are not in level 2, and then a level 3 and a level 3. Okay. So let's read what this says here. The new Storm Wraith Guardian and the head of Snake's side quest. Oh, Storm Wraith Guardian. Okay, yeah. Head of Snake's side quest can be used following the normal rules. The new heroes should be placed with other legendary cards. Okay. After a player reveals their Head of Snake's side quest, they gain the ability to gain legendary Medusan heroes from the box as described. If all the copies of a hero are gained from the box, that hero is no longer available to gain during the game. Okay. All right. So there's a little side quest. If you followed AEG or whatever, subscribed to their newsletter, I think it was, you got this for free during the campaign. It was pretty just included. They will be selling copies of this little promo kit for $10, I believe, on their website later on. So, all right, let us take a look at 16 first. So this one is Twilight Souls. I've got it zoomed in here because it's almost nothing but cards. Twilight Souls has a feature where you can stay aloft. Here we have these tokens that are brand new to the game. Here we have Soul, Light, and Falling rules. The realm Aretha is kept aloft by the supernatural light that permeates every bit of it, including the people and creatures that live there, and champions. This is represented by Soul Light token. As you gain and heal wounds, you'll lose and restore this new token. Obviously, you can gain more than one of them, though, because there's a ton of them here. Yeah, you know, various quests. Quest book. We've got new tokens here. And, you know, standard cardboard. Here we've got the pillars. And the Zephyr Shrine. Here, we'll put this back here in the middle. Pillars and the Zephyr Shrine. Everything's kind of like up in the air. Then we have Canyon. And the Friendless Peak. And then the Lost Airy. It's kind of desolate looking. And Vinmana. Okay. Lamplighter here. So this is not, these are not the same as, you know, lamps. Doesn't say anything on this about gaining those tokens. And here is Prince Musad. So here's our Guardian for Barricades mode. Pretty nasty looking fella there. All right. And then Epic Support. So this is basically, if you're not familiar with Thunderstone Quest, you can play either specific quests where they, in the quest book, it tells you here, it'll tell you, all right, Quest 16 here. It'll say, all right, you're only going to play with these 4 heroes. Boom, boom, boom. You're going to play with these 3 items and allies, these 3 weapons. So it's a static market, those spells and those monsters. You know who you're going to be facing roughly. You know what your options are. The piles never change. Or you can play where there's a constantly revolving set of cards from every quest in the game. You would need these separate cards. That way you don't have to pull a single card out from yours to play. I actually have never played this way, and this seemed like a really good idea early on when there was like 6 quests or something like that. Now, the size of the pile that would come with an epic quest has to be ginormous. So I'm curious to see people. I've heard lots of people say this is the only way I play. Tom Vassell, who kind of helped create this from the Dice Tower, is one of them. He said this is the only way I want to play. I'm curious if he is still playing this way, and he just plays with a giant stack of cards. So this really is just we have some nice so some regular dividers, which we don't use, and the nice ones. I like how they just continue to include these. These are nice, thicker dividers for basically every card you see, and then the rest of this should just be cards. I'm not going to need this tray after this. I guess there are some people who maybe like to display their games like a book on a bookshelf where you can see them. You know, it would say like this, you know, Quest 16, Twilight of the Souls, or, you know, this one's pretty good. So you would keep this, but I like the big boxes. So let's pull these out here and take a look at these cards in closer detail. All right, let's start with the bad guys here. So you have, these are all like from the light leech. So if you were to say, be told to grab a light leech, you would grab all of these and they would be your level 1s. So the artwork appears to be all the same, which is interesting. Usually they're different, but you can see that these are different here. Unless you have a rogue, if you move through this room and have a, that's that new symbol, gain 1, more than 1. Seeker, choker, after you move into this room, destroy one of your fancy ones. Charger, that's after battle, so it only affects you if you battle it. Clinger, I'm not gonna like read through every single one of these in detail. And then you have the other ones, so these are the fallen. They have various keywords here: humanoid, fae, undead, the fallen. But you can see these are what I was expecting here. Different artwork. The deafening one, the delightful one, the veiled one, the cursed one, the savage one. Definitely don't want to run into her. So these are all, those are the level 1s, so it's like 2 choices depending on the quest you play. And then we have here the Corvaxis. And again, we're now looking at unique artwork again. This guy was on the cover of the Kickstarter. I thought he was going to be a good guy, but he turns out he is a bad guy. Oh, that guy looks like the Skeksis from the Dark Crystal. So does that guy. I guess all these guys kind of do. So these guys are level 2s. Now we have Skylords. All right. I don't know why he has a box on his head. That's cool. Giant humanoid. Ulnus. Also giants. These guys are all giants. All right, now we're getting into level 3s. So you're always going to have a level 1, a level 2, and a level 3 monster. Usually these guys are further into the dungeon. Shadow Demons. And usually you can see these guys. So you got to get past, you got to get through the rooms up above, have enough light or willing to take on some wounds or something like that. Oh yeah, so now we're into deadly drafts. So elementals, lightning, skull tornado. These are cool. Hydra hurricane. You're gonna be able to see this, and for the most part, you'll know whether or not you can get down to someone. This is a new symbol. Oh, randomizer. Okay. I'm assuming this is just a really big, clear way of saying, all right, this is the expansion that we're dealing with. They made those nice and big now, but just a randomizer. I also don't play this way where you could just randomly pick any level 1, 2, and 3 monster there. We'll keep those together. All right. Yeah, we'll put those up there. All right, now on to, I guess, the good stuff. So again, if you're not familiar with Thunderstone Quest, you start with a bunch of basic heroes in your hand, and you can call them from your deck during the spoils phase to upgrade to, say, like a Arabella Talbard here. There's only 4 heroes to choose from usually, unless you're playing epic mode, and then you can upgrade Arabella from level 1 to 2 to 3, and then to the epic level 4 mode. So there's going to be several level 1s here of Arabella. We can just get through them. And here we can see discard a card from the top of your deck. If it's an ally or weapon, you may add it to your hand. Okay. Then as she gets better, if you have an ally, draw a card. Okay. So it's just whether or not you have them in your hand. Then we start getting up until there's less and less of the upper levels. So if you're playing this with multiple players, this is kind of semi-cooperative. You're all trying to defeat, you know, the bad guys, But if you don't play barricades mode, then you're still trying to have the most points at the end of the game. So there's only 2 level 3s and only 1 level 4. So if you're the first person to get to a level 4, you are the only one who has a level 4 Arabella Talbart card. She can have carry more weapons, basically. If you have an ally, draw a card at this level. And here she can carry even more weapons and ally or weapon draw a card. And you can see here that this is the legendary level. Who do we have now? Let's pull his cards out. That makes it easy. Odell Gareth Muck. Gareth Muck, yeah, okay. You can buy a lamp, paying. So normally you have to go and take the market action. And he just allows you to go buy one, which is nice. Sometimes you need lamps to make it through the dungeon. Okay, here we have, if you have excess light, you may ignore before battle abilities. That's nice too. And he can buy lamp. You can just buy those lamps. So you can always have excess light if you have the money. If you have an excess, you may ignore before and after battle abilities. Oh, I'm liking this guy more and more. And then you may ignore all abilities and on monsters and rooms. So this guy's like the true traveler, and he starts creating his own light down here. All right, let's see who we got next here. We have Baroness the Inquisitive, so a kid, looks like kind of Avatar the Airbender. +2 if you have a chaos spell. Okay, he's basically going to be wielding the spells. He doesn't hold much in the way of weapons. Discard 2 cards from the top of your deck. If you discard a spell, +1, +1, and +1. If you have a chaos spell in your discard pile, you may draw it. So obviously with this kid, you're going to be drawing chaos, or buying chaos spells. Discard 3 cards, and now just +2 a lot of things. If you have a chaos spell, discard 3 chaos spells. So yeah, there we go. Boom, 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 boom. Here we have actually somebody with wings. I think she was on the front cover. Yeah, that's our cover model there. All right, Astera, heal wound in a village. Love that. And gain one of those lamp things. Again, I'm not sure how the lamp things work. I just know that they are new to the game. Heal a wound or gain a thing. You may heal a wound and gain a thing. Okay. And just a little plug for the barricades mode, which is the full cooperative one. There's no points to be had. It's whether you defeat the monster or not. You always get to take a village turn and a fight turn, delving turn, or whatever you want to call it. Whereas multiplayer, you have to choose. Am I going to take do I have really good purchasing power this time? If so, I'm going to forego delving the dungeon and getting points and buy new cards, or at a certain point, then you have to delving the dungeon and ignore the village. So you can't take both. And I've never liked that way of doing it. So anyways, here is Astera as she gets better and better. Belkar Hammerwing. All right. It's like a dwarf on a griffin or something. He gets +1 attack if he's wielding a bow or an edged weapon. All right, very straightforward. Now he gets +2, and then he can heal a wound in the village or the dungeon phase. Now +2, when your cards would be discarded or destroyed by an ability of a monster in a room, you may choose any of your cards instead. Okay. Heal a wound or gain, and then ignore abilities on monsters and rooms that discard or destroy your cards. So he's good at holding on to his stuff. And then we have this frightened wizard fella here. When you buy a card or gear token, you may also buy a lamp, paying the cost, of course. That doesn't seem as good as the other guy who can just buy one. I'm assuming the other guy can buy one without taking the market phase action, or bazaar phase action. I think it's called the bazaar. Yeah, this guy's not as impressive to me. When you gain a gear token, it's all about gaining gear tokens. So obviously, instead of chaos spells, with this guy, you're going to be going for gear tokens. a lot. But that means you're not like upgrading your hero as much. I don't know. All right, now we're getting into the market cards. Technically, those heroes would be in the market, but these cards are all going to be the same now. So you'll have a stack of these, and once they're gone, they're gone. But so we have Giant Eagle, which is an ally. Some of those guys fired off when they said ally, so that's good. Another ally. There's that guy specifically. He basically has one on his own, which is nice. These guys can fight on their own. Griffin. Okay, lots of allies in this one. Allies have been around for several quests now. Now we're getting into more of the standard items. So here's a helm. Magic item, provides 2 light. And it's going to cost you 4 money, but then produces 1 when you have it in your hand. And if you go dungeon delving, you get one of those tokens. That's pretty straightforward. Whereas then the Hyper Prism going to allow you to carry more weapons, increased weapons. You also gain a lamp or heal a wound. Allows you to gain a Thunderstone shot. That's victory points at the end of the game. So only pay attention to that if you're going to be playing competitive. Inner Light. So now we're in the spells. So we're looking for chaos spells. Level up 1 hero by spending those lamps instead of shards. That's interesting. I like that one. Nourishment. Arcane Divine Spell. So you're just creating meat out of thin air. Interesting. Dark Pact. So there's a chaos spell. That's one of the ones we're looking for. And divine, so only 1 chaos spell for our little airbender. Interesting. Oh, hold on, there might be some more. This stack was divided in half. Nope, that was the last of the spells. So now we have weapons. And here you can see the plus means that it's not going to wield on its own. You have to give it to somebody else. It takes 5 points of combat prowess to be able to wield this. So somebody has to have that number on their banner be 5 or higher, and then it's going to give you +2, -1 if you have an ally. So it only costs 4 if you have an ally. Lance, 6, -3 though, and +1 for fighters. Okay, so obviously you'd want to attach these to fighters. And again, if you are not familiar with how you play the game, you will have your hand of cards, you'll draw up your 5. Hopefully you have a hero or 2, because these weapons and spells and stuff cannot just be cast on their own. They have to be attached to the characters that you also drew. And, like if your character has, say, 6 worth of combat prowess, I'm not saying that correctly, it's called something else, and they were a fighter, they could wield this lance and this bola, basically, to get +1, +1 if they're a fighter, they're getting +2 here, +1 here. That's how you determine your attack power. And here we have the chakram, the little bladed frisbee thing that's always associated with air people, air combat. Fancy hat. Okay. Fancy hat. Oh, these are treasures. So we can see that by this on the bottom. So these will just be mixed in. And if we ever receive a treasure, and then a legendary item, trophy wings. Interesting. And then here we have our randomizers. All right. Is there anything else in here? There should be 1 of each. So you have a copy of 1 of each card for regular play, epic play. Okay, we got some side quests and stuff. Oh yeah, we'll put those on top of there. Loyal companions. Reveal the side quest when you have 3+ allies in your hand on your turn. If revealed, gain this side quest shards at the end of the game. So this is just points. Yeah. When revealed, gain the following. Refill an empty new token at the village. take flight, and here we have his guardian guides and his cards to fight against him depending on what levels. So if you're playing non-barricades mode where you would use that full board of his, you would have these cards and they would pop out, and whoever defeats him gets the buku points at the end. Lamplighters Guild, okay. Spoils, these should be all the same, yeah. So this is just a little side bonus. If you have 3+ of those, you gain a thing on your turn. Or here, Stable Master Society. If you defeat a level 1 monster with an ally, gain an extra shard. So you can have, you know, those side quests and those things. But that is Quest 16, Twilight Souls. So let me clean up a little bit and we'll look at the All-Consuming Hive next. All right, so here we have the All-Consuming Hive. They have static captives. Yeah. So the All-Consuming Hive includes a new stack of allies called captives, representing the various locals who have been abducted by the evading insect horde. Static just means they don't get shuffled into your deck. So both of these new quests comes with you know, something new, which is nice. Here we have for our level 1s the tunnel. So we're going the opposite direction now. Instead of up, we're going down. The tunnels and the buttresses. That definitely looks creepy. Here we have egg chamber. Definitely not getting alien vibes with these two. Good lord. And then last but not least, habitation zone. And then whatever this thing is, the mind chamber. So yeah. For our bad guy here, we have Sidura the Sorceress. Definitely giving me some alien vibes. But that's new. That's the first time we've kind of had anything like that. This game is still high fantasy, don't get me wrong, but just a touch of sci-fi in there. Discard cards from the top of your deck equal to your highest hero. You may draw a wound discarded this way. So hold on. Wasted Warrior. You can move up in rank if you defeat a level 1 monster that deals you a wound, or you can move up double if you defeat a level 2 monster with a wound in your hand. So you want wounds. The trophy symbol is going to give you may gain a wound to your hand. For each wound you have, draw a card. I'm guessing that's only when you draw that symbol. This is weird. This is giving you lots of wounds. Or your wounds have light. Gain a wound card to heal. Now this is tricky because wound cards just clog up your deck, but they don't hurt you. And then your life counter there goes left or right. But where your life counter is determines how good or how many cards you draw, which is very important. Ignore all value penalties on wound cards. When you gain this rank, gain the legendary hero Raelin the Lion. So he must be in here somewhere. This is a very interesting character to play as. Definitely would make you play differently. All right, and then as before, we've got some epic quests. I believe these are also epic quests, these two small ones. I opened up the other one last time accidentally. And we have some regular randomizers as well as the really nice randomizers. And I think both of them, yeah. Both of them are really nice that they always have. I didn't show this off earlier, but tells you what should be in this quest. So, and then we have some cards that I'm gonna unwrap and then we'll take a look at. All right, so again, we'll start off with the bad guys here. We have Wormlings. And like the other ones, these are all the same, same artwork. If this swarm has +1 d6. Okay, shielding. If the swarm roll is less than 4, +1. Ooh, interesting. And these guys are even worse. Portal Keeper, Humanoid, Child of the Worm. Okay. Venomir, Child of the Worm. Interesting. Worm Mind Adept. Dueling Zealot. Worm Prophet. Okay. All right, now we're getting into level 2s. You could have worms and then the Hive Horde. So worms and bugs. Harvester. Captive Keeper. Hive Worker. That one's almost kind of cute. And Hive Hunter. That guy's definitely not cute. All right, and now we're undead mutants. So you could have children of the worm and undead mutants. I'm sure this is one of the quests. Oh, Biter. Definitely don't want to come across that guy. Infector. I mean, why is eyeballs all different sizes? Come on. Ooh, no. No, thank you. No, thank you. The Bloater. This is one person. This is like an arm. Assuming this is his head. His torso is right here. You can see that eyeball, and then like a different kind of eyeball. Almost like hair over here, like he ingested a dwarf. That's gross. All right, now our level 3s. Here, back to the bug-ish creatures. Hybrid Feral, so very human-looking face there. Hybrid Cavalry. Arcane Hybrid, so I guess this is like half bug, half people. That's why they're the hybrids. These guys are like actually wearing clothes. And all right, so that was hybrids. Now we're into mind worms. All right, so RFK Jr. made it into the game. Aggressive Thinker. Ruling Thinker. Village Thinker, okay. Compelling Thinker, interesting. And then we have our randomizers. All right. So that's all the nasties that we can fight against in this quest. And let's move on to heroes here. So we have Jackson Esford. He's pretty standard. Oh, he's a cleric, though. Blunt weapons. He can wield them more easily. Heal a wound to give Jackson +1. Okay, I like that. I always like it when healing combos with stuff. Heal a wound to give Jackson +2 or +3 if it was a fettered wound or whatever it's called. -2 and +1, and then he draws 2 cards if it was a fettered wound, and then he draws 4 cards if it was a fettered wound. So obviously this guy works well with the Wasteland Warrior prestige card. So yeah, maybe we'll be playing as that. Hayden Hart, Aberration Human Undead Fighter Hero. If you have, give Hayden +2. So yeah, obviously you're going to want to play with that that prestige board if you're playing these quests. If you have a infected wound, +3. If you have infected wound, Hayden +3, and for each one draw a card, and then +3 and draw a card for each. Yeah, I don't really know what the difference between those is. Give Hayden +3 and draw. And for each you have, give Hayden +3 for each wound you have and draw a card. Here it's give Hayden +3 and draw a card. So I guess this last one you drawing cards, this one you only draw one. Might need to check and clarification for that one. All right, here we have a normal looking guy who's doesn't want the wounds. And he's got like woodland companions. Who doesn't want to play as Elgamoran? Dungeon rooms require -1 light. Pretty straightforward. Dungeon rooms have -1 light requirement. Your allies gain the static keyword this turn. Love that. That means they don't get shuffled back into your deck. Your companions stay with you. If you have an ally, draw a card. added on, and draw a card for each of your allies. I like him. He looks like he would mix well with any quest, not just this festering one with brain worms and stuff. Discard the top 3 cards of your deck. If you discard a spell or a infected wound, give Cathamus +1 spell power. Okay. Discard the top 3 cards of your deck if you discard a spell or a infected wound. Blah blah blah. Yeah, so she's all about. She's gonna go through your hand very quickly, which I guess is okay. Again, you're gonna want those infected wounds though. Definitely gonna have to test it out though. Lady Baroda Iron Crown. So again, she does not want the wounds. So change this hero's. So that's cool, and I'm assuming this is optional. So if she were to come across somebody with shielding against physical attacks, you could switch her just like that to spell attacks. That's a good little trick. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Equal the number of heroes of other uniquely titled heroes you have, so you want to diversify with her. And yeah, she gets lots of extra stuff at that level. And then we have the Halfling Cleric Rogue Hero here, Heal Wound. Love it. Very straightforward. Discard an item, spell, or weapon to draw a card. Heal a wound. Okay. Heal a wound. If it was infected, gain 2. So you can build up your Thunderstone shards with him. All right. Oop, this guy shouldn't have been there. He should have been at the top of my other pile here. Last but not least, we have our others. So we have allies. Deep Rock Guide. Almost said Deep Rock Galactic. Mandibled Retriever. So that is an ant ally, of course. I mean, you need an ant ally when you're fighting worms. Crown of Cleansing. All right, so this helps you heal those wounds. So they're giving you ways to deal with the wounds. Heal a wound if it was an infected one. Draw 2 cards. Anti-venom. Word of Stasis. Destroy gear token to ignore shielding and magic resistance on the monster's turn. Interesting. So I guess that would go well with the guy who just wanted gear tokens. See, everything combos with something in the game. You just got to figure out what it is. Hand of Restoration, Divine. That guy was actually in the other quest, though. So I don't know how much we're going to be mixing the two. Shrink. I like that. Desiccation. There's another chaos spell. Ignition Bow. I like that name. That's a cool name for a weapon. If wielded in monsters or rooms that require 1 or more light, they have -1 wound. Okay. Shellcracker. I like it. It's like Skullcracker, but for bugs. Resin Blade. Isn't resin normally not as... it's like brittle, right? Why would you want a resin blade? Anyways, Wasteland Stinger. So you like took the stinger off the bug and turned it into a blunt and edged weapon. I like that. And now we have, these are the static captives. So Keen, Vengeful Guard. Destroy this card to gain a shard. This guy will help you in battle, though. Destroy this card to heal up to 1 wound. I guess you just get to... If you rescue them, what it seems like is that during the village phase, you can... Destroy them means you're not, like, blowing them up. You're releasing them. We'll think of it that way. But that's just the key term that will hold true. Faithful Hound. So you'll get these guys, and when you need them, when you need their little bonus, you can spend them. They aren't going to mix into your hand, I don't think. Maybe they mix into your hand, and then once you draw them, they sit off to the side. We'll have to read the rules specifically on that. Hive Sweets, some honey. Winnie the Pooh would be proud. So these are the treasures. and 1 legendary hero here, Royalin the Lion. That's who the Wasteland Warrior can become. He's pretty cool. And then we have the randomizers. We can skip these. Boom, boom, boom. 1 of all of those. And we have side quests here. Okay, I gotta read all of these word for word. But some more side quests. Sadura the Sorceress here. Guardian Guides, or her actual cards. And that's it. No guilds in this one. Giant rats, obviously, on the back of those. Whoops, these need to get flipped over. No? Maybe they don't. Okay. Side quest, side quest. I don't know what I'm doing here. Anyways, that was, yeah, both quests, 16 and 17. If you would like to see one of these in action, see one of these prestige boards in action, see the bonus one, the Medusan Lord, let me know in the comment section below. I'm always happy. I've got plenty of Thunderstone Quest content on the channel, but we can throw another playthrough out there if you're interested. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Have a great day.